Are you thinking about moving abroad for the person that you're in love with? Or have you already made that decision and you're trying to figure out how to build your new life in this new country and how you're going to make your relationship a successful one? If this is you, then this episode is exactly for you. We live in a world where we can very easily travel and go abroad for studies, for work, or leisure. This allows more opportunities for people in different countries to meet and date. I've seen so much content on the topic of long distance relationship, and I find that, of course, super helpful. But in the end, I would say most people have the goal in mind that not only do they want to make it long distance, but they also want to shorten that distance so they can finally be together in the same place and build a future together. I see the lack of content on this specific aspect of long distance relationship. It's very much focusing on the phase when you're still apart. And of course, that's important to navigate. But in the end, I also see a lot of couples who couldn't make it because maybe they handled it so well long distance, but when they're finally together in the same place, potentially even living together, they don't know how to deal with that. And the relationship falls apart. So, from my personal experience and also from the things that I've heard from friends and also the people I've coached, I want to make this episode to really discuss whether or not you should move for love. And if you do, what you should focus on to avoid potential problems and ensure your relationship is a successful one. Before we get into it, I'd like to introduce myself if you didn't already know me. My name is Lois, and I'm the host of this podcast. I've lived in 5 different places, traveled to 33 countries and counting, and I've learned how to speak 7 languages through my experience of working and studying across 4 continents. I've recently moved to Munich, Germany to be with my partner. Therefore, I know all about packing up and leaving, moving abroad, long distance relationship, and any topic related to building your dream life internationally. Welcome to my channel and let's get into it. Let's talk about if you should move abroad for love. My personal honest opinion is that unless you feel that this relationship is solid, there's mutual effort, both sides want to make this work, and you both agree there's a future, then you shouldn't move to another place to save a relationship. If you feel that the other person's not in it anymore, a bit wishy washy, and you just feel like if I could just close this distance, then they would invest more in this relationship and then we would be happily ever after, that's not going to happen. Relationships ultimately always require mutual efforts. And there's no point in uprooting your life and going through hardships for someone who's not 100% in it. Therefore, in the case of you're moving because you want to get back together with someone or because you feel like you're losing this connection and you really want to make it work, I would suggest that you really do deep self reflection to see it's really worth it to go through all the headaches because it's a lot of sacrifice. It's hard. Like, I'm going to say it now that it's never easy to move abroad and start a new life. If you're doing it for a relationship, better be worth it. Otherwise, you're better off looking for someone else who's actively choosing you every day. That's the type of person and the type of relationship that you should make this huge investment and sacrifice for. If you evaluate that, okay, this is my person, this person really wants to build a life with me, and we've talked about this, and I feel so sure and confident that we're gonna make it, and you're really considering, okay, so now what? The most important advice I'll give you here is to not make this person the only focus of your life. Why do I say that? Because when you are moving for love and obviously you're very in love with this person and you're having all these great visions of how your relationship's going to be like. And then it's easily to get caught up in this rush of romance and excitement that you forget about other things. You're neglecting other aspects of your life and you're just so invested in working on your relationship. Ultimately, everyone is responsible for their own happiness. Outside of this relationship, you have to have some kind of reason to be in this place. It cannot only be because you want to be with your partner. That's just simply not enough, and it's going to lead to so many other problems later on. So, the first thing that I would say is please do your research. Before you move to this country, really evaluate, really think, do I know this place? Do I know anything outside of my partner's life? Obviously, you know this person, so you know probably their family, their friends, their work. But do you really know the culture there? Do you understand the work culture? Do you know what the community is going to be like? Is there anything that's attractive to you that's not just about your partner? This is very important. The better you know the place, the more you learn about it, you have a clearer picture of what your new life's going to look like. So before you make the plan of relocating, I suggest that it's necessary to sit down and watch some documentaries, go on social media, Google, whatever resources you can get. It's so easy, it's so available everywhere now online to just get some insights of what this place is really like and what that life's gonna look like. This is gonna save you from so many unrealistic expectations. Like, you know what it is from the start. So when you're really there, you're not gonna have so much cultural shock that you feel sad, that you feel confused, that you feel lost, because you've already done your research, so you know what it's gonna be like. And I think that offers you a sense of stability, that you know what you're getting into, and therefore there's less fear and uncertainty within you. The second thing that I would say is to have your own purpose. Going back to the whole, your happiness is your own responsibility. You should have something that gets you out of bed every day that's not directly related to your partner. It could be that you need money, so you want to work. It could be that you're really interested in something and so you want to learn. It could be education if you want to go to school, do a master's degree. Anything that you feel that even if this relationship fails, even if you break up, you're not gonna feel like you've got nothing going on in this new place. I feel like it's so important because this is how you maintain your sense of identity, your sense of autonomy, that you still feel like a complete person and you're not depending on your partner to offer you that. Life is complicated. Everyone has so much going on, and it's also unfair to expect that your partner gives you all the sense of fulfillment and excitement and meaning and everything coming only from this one person. So it's so important to have something that you're really interested in. Ask yourself, what would I really love to be doing in this new place? Make a to-do list. Put things down on paper or in a Word document that make it a challenge, make it fun for yourself. So you always have something to look forward to. When your partner is busy with work, when your partner is with their friends and families, you have things to do instead of just waiting around for them to come back. That's just not going to make you happy. At some point, you're going to feel so empty and sad. You're also not going to be able to bring any positive energy to your relationship, which is why it's so important to have your own purpose. And the third point, so other than having your own purpose, I also think it's very important if you have your own circle of friends or you find your own community. The reason why I say this is because it's also very common that when people move abroad for their partner, they end up only hanging out with their partner's friends. Making new friends is so difficult, right? Like, when we're adults, we're not in school anymore. It's often a challenge because they're asking themselves, where do I find new friends? And of course, there are ways. For example, you can sign up for sports classes or do your hobby. You can join these international communities where you can meet new friends. There are ways, but it's not easy to find someone who vibes with you, someone that you feel can understand you, and someone you could potentially form a long lasting friendship. None of this is easy, which is why a lot of people would slip into this situation where they're like, if my partner is hanging out with their friends and they already know me, they already accept me as a part of the group, why bring more headache to myself? But I would say, please don't ever stop trying. It's so important to maintain your own sense of independence. It's great if you love your partner's friends and you get along with them very well and that they accept you and they love hanging out with you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but the danger of this is, again, that there is always a possibility that you break up. You have to be realistic. Even if two people really love each other and feel like they're going to be together forever, there's always a possibility that things don't work out. You have to prepare yourself for the worst and think, okay, if I'm in this new country and I don't know anyone and I only hang out with my partner's friends, what if we break up? Then you would end up with no friends because they are their existing friends. To avoid feeling isolated and that you don't have a support system, it's so important to really keep reaching out, to keep trying, going to different activities, doing hobbies, whatever it is that you could to try to expand your circle. Even if it's just one friend, it's better than nothing. It really is. And I assure you, it's worth all your investment and all of the hard work and all of the effort that you put into. If you can form a meaningful friendship outside of your romantic relationship. Another aspect of this is if you don't speak the local language and you sometimes miss home, you miss the food from home, you miss hearing people speak your language, and you miss watching movies or reading books or talking about things back home. I also recommend that you find something on Facebook or Instagram, like whatever it is, there always some kind of group that you can join, and people from your home country are likely to organize something. Whatever it is, put yourself out there, right? Like, really try to maintain a connection to your roots because this would also help you feel more grounded in this new place that you're trying to adapt into. The fourth point is get better at asking for help. I don't know what it is, and myself included, I feel like a lot of people hate asking for help. They don't want to appear vulnerable, they don't want to appear needy. So, if they're going through a hard time, if they don't know how to handle a certain situation, they try to figure it out by themselves and struggle for so long and longer than it's necessary. And then sometimes the problem's still not solved. The reason I'm saying this is because you have to realistically expect that everything's gonna be harder to do when you're in a new environment. It's just how it is because you don't know how things work. You don't know people. You are unfamiliar with the local mindset. So it could be that there are just more barriers than you expected. It could be that in your home country, you know exactly how things work, so you can just get things done like this. It's so simple. You don't even have to think about it. Maybe you're proud of being a very capable person to handle situations by yourself if you're in a new place and you don't know exactly how to do things, or your old way of doing things isn't working very well. It's just a very normal transition process that everyone has to go through when they move abroad. So here's a gentle reminder to give yourself grace, to acknowledge that everyone needs a little help from time to time. It's not embarrassing to admit that you need help. Once you get better at asking for help, you're gonna notice that so many people are there to offer help. So many people actually want to support you. So many people actually want to help you solve things. The reason why I'm saying this is because I used to be the type of person who refuses to get help. I want to be able to research everything. If I don't know something, I Google it, I figure it out. But then eventually I ran into situations where I'm like, okay, I actually don't know how to do this. And it's frustrating. Then I reach out and ask for help. I initially thought that people would find me a burden and that they would be annoyed or frustrated with, like, oh, why you can't just deal with this by yourself. But it's not true. People are so happy to help and they offer insights, experiences, advice. And I would say from my experience, people are mostly very kind. They want to help and they feel good about themselves as well when they get an opportunity to help out other people. If you're stuck with something, please don't insist that you have to deal with it all by yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It's a type of emotional muscle that you have to work on to get over yourself and reach out. As someone who's lived in 5 different countries and had a lot of experience with moving abroad, it's a valuable skill if you know how to ask for help and don't feel ashamed or guilty about it. The last point that I want to share is, in my opinion, the most important one. Have an honest and open conversation with your partner. A lot of people are too afraid to do this. And honestly, not communicating transparently from the start is going to cause you so many problems down the road. I understand that it can be scary to sit down with your partner and go through all the finances and concerns that you have because you think that bring these things up could lead to a huge fight and discomfort. But the reason why you have to do this is because moving abroad is difficult. Your partner needs to know all the challenges and all the concerns and all the things that you're sacrificing so that they have a full understanding of what you're going through and will be going through. And so they can show up in the right way for you. If you don't talk about it and later on you're running into problems and they can't relate because they're not the one who moved, you build up resentment towards them, that's not fair to them. Or if we think about it reversely, it could also be that in the process of having this conversation, you realize that this person doesn't see things from your perspective. They don't respect your boundaries. They don't consider things for you. They are not trying to actively make your life easier by helping you out in this transition process. And that you're finding out that they're only looking out for themselves and they're not really fair with some of the things that you discuss, then this is also a good indication that maybe you shouldn't stay in this relationship or postpone the decision of moving abroad for them. I know that argument, disagreement, and discussion is uncomfortable, but doing this early on is going to save you from worse heartbreaks or more problems. And if you are in a healthy and loving relationship, I'm sure your partner is going to try their very best to understand things from your perspective and do whatever they can to ensure that your experience is on the positive side. So, all in all, it's not going to hurt your relationship by having these hard conversations. The only reason that your relationship would break down from this type of conversation would be that it wasn't meant to be in the first place. I can relate that it's like jumping into cold water when going into a conversation like this, but I'm telling you, it's necessary and you have to do it. I'm gonna share my own example of how I did it. So, with my partner, we talked about everything very transparently and openly from the beginning of our relationship when we spoke about moving in together and me moving to Germany. It was scary. Could I really bring up topics like finance with him? But when we really get into the conversation, I realized that there was nothing to be scared of because this person truly loves me. He cares about me. He wants the best for me. And he's totally capable of seeing things from my perspective and see the sacrifices that I'm making in order to close the gap of this distance in our relationship. So the conversation actually went very well. And I felt that in any moment of that conversation, I could express myself openly, share my concerns, and set up terms and conditions that would be fair to both of us. So trust me, I understand the feeling before going into the conversation, this nerve-wracking nauseous feeling of, oh my God, am I gonna ruin this relationship by starting this conversation? But really, please be assured that if this is the person that you're meant to be, if this person truly loves you, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna have a conversation that is going to help both of you grow and help the both of you understand each other better. In the long run, it's the healthy thing to do for your relationship. And if they react negatively, if they cannot empathize with you, don't respect your opinions, and don't make any effort to make your move easier, then know that there is someone out there that's better for you. Don't settle for less. Piggybacking on this point of having an honest and open conversation, I also want to bring up, if you do want to live together, I highly recommend that you have a co living agreement. So, what is a co living agreement? It would be similar to a prenup, except you're not married. So, I'm mainly talking about things in the terms if you're not married. If you're not married and you want to live together and you are moving abroad with another person, I highly recommend that you have this co living agreement because it can potentially protect you from some bad situations. In this co living agreement, you're going to lay out clearly what's the financial contribution of each person in this relationship to the household and who's going to get the flat if you break up and who's going to have to move out. And if the person has to move out, how much time are you going to allow this person to look for a new flat? And how are you going to divide the things that you buy for the household? I know that this is a very tough thing to do, and I know that most people don't do that, but I've seen so many horror stories of people literally being kicked out from their flats the moment that they break up, and then they have nowhere to go because they don't have family or friends that they could go to. Or if they do have friends to go to, it's still a very short notice for them to be able to look for a new place. And things can get so nasty when you don't have a very clear idea of how to split the things that you bought together or which object belongs to whom. So, by having this co living agreement, it's to protect both parties in this relationship so that you know if you break up and no longer live together, both of you feel that the solution is fair to everyone involved. If someone truly cares about you and they see a future with you and they want to treat you fairly, they wouldn't be afraid of discussing a co living agreement and signing it. Because this would also be a process of both sides sharing their thoughts, ideas, and expectations honestly. It's not a one way street. It's not like you demanded a, B, C, D, and then your partner is supposed to just get on board and sign it. Ultimately, this is an agreement that is agreed upon by both parties. If you feel like you have come up with a fair solution, then why shouldn't you want to sign it? Only people who would want to mess with you if things don't work out would hesitate to sign this agreement. This is also a good way to see if both people feel that they're really sure that they want to do this together and that they have the best interest of each other in mind. If you're wondering how to start a conversation like this or how to come up with a co living agreement, I'm here to help. I'm happy to offer guidance and advice individually in this regard because I believe that everyone has very different situations. So I wouldn't want to give out detailed suggestions in this podcast. If you have some questions, feel free to reach out to me via Instagram or email or leave a comment below, and I will see what I can do to help. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you very soon next time. Bye bye.